On this week's episode of the Program Guys podcast, Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay with a new mega deal. Russell Wilson is now a Bronco, and Mr. Wentz goes to Washington. We check in on the OU football players getting ready for the NFL draft with their pro day and at the NFL combine. We circle the WaGanns, get Ryan's must watch, Pat's hot take, and pick our MVPs of the week in our new segment. All right, let's get started.
3, 2, 1.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
What's up, and welcome into episode number 9 of the Program Guys podcast. I am Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Matt Gann, Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, and Patrick Hertzberger. Today is Thursday, March 10th. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Program Guys. Wait, did we change it? It's at Program Guys. It's no longer the.
Yep.
Okay.
No duh.
That was a not smooth intro. We're not going to cut it though, because I don't feel like it. At Program Guys with a Z on Instagram, at Program Guys with a Z. Everybody, how we doing?
Good. We love it, baby. Keep rolling.
Gotta love the energy. Anybody have anything fun to share? I just got back from a work trip in Coleman, Alabama. Not a lot to share from that.
Go. You've been in SEC country.
I've been. Technically, I'm in SEC country now in the state of Oklahoma.
That's true.
Because we built like
good
that.
one. Ooh. Good one.
And you guys are too in the state of Texas. So.
Oh yeah.
So that's we're all in the SEC country besides Pat.
Yep.
That's true. He's in the USC.
It's an L for me, boys.
Yeah, Pat's out there in what do they call it? The Conference of Champions. That's what Bill Walton calls it.
Yes.
Even though they haven't won a championship in who knows how long. But, Bill Walton. Oh, what a guy. What a guy. All right, guys, we'll get started with some NFL news. It's been a busy,
3 days, 2 days.
It's like I feel like it's 24 hours.
It's been insane. We'll start with probably the biggest news, and that's that Aaron Rodgers is not retiring. Aaron Rodgers is not going to play for anyone else. Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Green Bay Packers. He's signed a reported 4-year, or maybe he hasn't signed it yet, 4-year, $200 million deal reported, $153 million guaranteed. That is a massive number. By the way, if you do the math, 4 years, $200 million, $50 million a year. That will make him the highest paid player in NFL history. Matt, take it away.
Yeah, listen, this is fantastic news. Obviously, when the season, maybe not for the Vikings and for that division. You're right, Ryan.
Well, and Pat's third favorite team, the Bears.
Bears, right?
It's tough for the Bears.
Tough for both of you because he's sticking around. So obviously, fantastic news for me and the Packers organization. I told you guys after the Packers loss, I felt very little hope. I thought he would honestly just retire the way he was talking. So for him not to dilly around and just to come out and say, hey, I'm going to sign with the Packers, the best news you as a Packers fan you can get. Now, the details of the contract have not been released. There was a report by Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network said they came out with 4 years, $200 million. Pat McAfee, who obviously hosts Aaron Rodgers every Tuesday on his show during the season, came out and said that was false. And so has Aaron Rodgers, has not released any details. The only thing he has mentioned is obviously continuing to play for the Packers, as well as trying to make it cap friendly, because they do have a lot of other people to play on the team. They did franchise tag Devontae Adams, but again, him being a top 2, maybe the best receiver in the NFL at this point, he's going to get paid. So hopefully they can make a very cap friendly structured deal with Aaron Rodgers, what they're currently working on, but got to be the favorites in the NFC once again, I would think.
I mean, honestly, I don't even think it matters if it's cap friendly anymore. If you have Aaron Rodgers, I think if you go all out to win a Super Bowl right now in the next however many years, because if he wins one next year or he wins one the next year, I think he's done. I don't think he'll want to play out that 4-year contract if he goes ahead and wins a Super Bowl. So why not say, screw the cap, go all in right now, like the Rams did and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did, and see if it pays off. Why not try that?
Well,
that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I think like I mentioned in one of the first podcasts we did, I mean, the Green Bay Packers have the second worst salary cap situation in the league currently. So they're pretty much all in.
I was about to say they're
pretty much in. I mean, again, 2 years, 2 straight NFC championships, just can't get over the hurdle. They need another playmaker at wide receiver to help Devontae out. That clearly was what happened in the Niners game. They need somebody else to help out as well.
What if they just like draft? What if they just draft another like quarterback in the first round? That'd be kind of
really
sick.
Love Carson Strong.
Just really need Malik Willis.
We think
gotta have him.
We think Bailey Zappi could be the next guy.
Go ahead, Pat. Sorry.
Just in general, I think Aaron Rodgers is not. He hasn't performed like Packers fans feel like how great he is, and it really upsets me. He's won 1 Super Bowl, and however long he's been around,
15 years.
15 years, Gan, and you're gonna get excited for the next 4.
Is Patrick's hot take? Did it just come like 4 minutes into?
I was about to say, did we move segments without telling me?
He's got 4 MVPs, 1 Super Bowl. Who cares about an MVP? He's gonna win Super Bowls.
Who cares?
The last
about
2
MVP?
years MVP.
Patrick, all your fellow Bears fans are hearing you say that, and they're like, "Yeah, Patrick, that's right."
I'm a Vikings fan who hates the Packers probably more than anybody on this pod, and I think that take is bad.
Okay, well, I don't know why he lost to San Francisco then.
Yeah, I mean,
because San Francisco was
the
better
make
team.
him the highest paid player.
It doesn't mean
against San Fran.
It doesn't mean he's not the best player on the field.
Give me Jimmy G. Just kidding.
Just kidding. I was about to say, Patrick, what are we doing? Like, you are going off on the deep end. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. Like 1 Super Bowl in 15 years for a guy who is widely considered as one of the, if not the best quarterback in the league during that span. But at the same time, football is a team game. We know that, and we see it year after year. Like Matthew Stafford didn't win the Super Bowl for the Rams this year. Like that entire team won it. Matthew Stafford was a good part of that, but they had a lot of pieces around that worked out. Tom Brady was a big part of the Bucks. They had a lot of people around him there. I get what you're saying. And in the grand scheme of things, in the society that we live in right now, where rings matter and rings talk the most, hence the MJ LeBron debate, I get where you're coming from at that point. But football is just different. It's just not an individual thing like that. Like if the Packers don't win another Super Bowl, people won't be like, Aaron Rodgers is a freaking bum. They just won't.
So
Patrick will.
I'll be alone in that, but yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
I don't know. I do think it's a hurdle you have to jump. Like Stafford is going to be looked at differently throughout his career now because he has a ring. It's always going to be, well, the Lions held him back. And then he got to the Rams and he took that down. So to me, the fact that Rodgers has 1, it clears him from that, right? He got his 1. It's hard to win in the NFL. It's so hard to win in the NFL. So it's not, I don't think it's an indictment against him that he can't win a Super Bowl. I think it's an indictment against him that he gets his ass kicked in Lambeau year after year in the playoffs when he's got home field and he's got bye weeks in the first round. But
that's a very good point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
That's my thing with the presumed favorite conversation is the NFL champion resides in the NFC right now and hasn't done anything to take a step back. If they bring Von Miller back, the Rams have to be considered the favorite. Have to. Sorry. And the 49ers are close behind them if someone that's not Trey Lance is playing quarterback. Or maybe Trey Lance, but we don't really know, right? So aren't the Packers the same team they were last year? Yep. Except they're losing Zadarius Smith in free agency. They haven't done anything to shore up the receiver position. They haven't traded for anyone that I've noticed. All they've done is lock even more money up to Aaron Rodgers into his 40s. And it does open up cap space this year. It absolutely does. So that's, TBD on that for sure.
But to your point about, and Matt's point about cap space, a lot of those big name receivers are already getting taken up with franchise tags. Like like Adams was one, but he's obviously on your team. But you have Godwin down in Tampa Bay. They franchise tagged him.
Mike Williams got locked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Gallup's getting locked up.
So
Cooper's the only free agent.
Yeah. So the free agent class that we thought was going to be massive at the wide receiver position has now turned into very, very small. So if you are the Packers, who do you look at?
You can't even trade for Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Yikes. We'll get to that. Yeah. So again, sorry to the Vikings, Lions, and Bears fans. I know that's really tough. Ryan, anything else you want to add before we move on?
No, I'm just, I'm a little sad about this. I was really hoping he would like go away. It's like a fly. Thought we were going to swat the fly finally. And he's back for another 4 years. And, I'm just really happy for Gann. He's been through a lot in his, fandom with Green Bay, and it's been a lot for him. And so, I'm just happy for the dude.
He glided into a quarterback with 4 MVPs.
If people cannot hear the sarcasm in my voice, there is a lot.
I
of
couldn't.
Yeah, I knew where you're going. So literally we had this happen with Aaron Rodgers, and then 24 hours later, maybe not even, I don't know the times. It was less.
It was like half an hour. It was insane.
Oh my God. It was freaking nuts. Russell Wilson is being traded to the Denver Broncos. And he was traded for Noah Fant, Drew Lock, and a bunch of picks, if I'm not mistaken.
And Shelby Harris.
And
the next 2 firsts, the next 2 seconds, Shelby Harris, Drew Lock, and Noah Fant.
And then a 3rd rounder and Russell Wilson go to Denver.
Yeah.
So Russell Wilson, he's going to look good in orange. They will no longer be allowed to play future in the locker room in Denver. That's going to be tough. But what do we think about the AFC West now? Because you have Russell Wilson, you have Justin Herbert, who is everybody's favorite quarterback now besides Joe Burrow. You have Derek Carr, who I think is vastly underrated. I think he's vastly underrated. I would love for Derek Carr to be a quarterback on my team. And then, of course, you have Patrick Mahomes. That division, keep in mind, at least one team in that division is not going to make the playoffs every year. At least one. So
3 wild cards now. They could.
Really?
Yeah, 3 wild cards now. They could. It's possible.
I think it's crazy to think about. Sorry, my dog's going crazy if you can hear that. Are the Broncos the favorites in the AFC West now? I have a hard time betting against the Chiefs.
No, they're not the favorites. Not the favorites. But I think the question is, are they the second best team or the third best team? And that matters for playoff matchups, right? I think that adding Russell Wilson and not having to give up any key offensive pieces or defensive pieces, plus there's, every tweet in the world from Von Miller saying that he wants to come back to Denver.
Yeah.
So you add him back to this team and, they're competing for the division. I don't think they win it, but I think they're competing for the division the moment he steps in the door.
I think they're the second best team. I think the Chiefs are 1. You have the Broncos 2, and the other 2 just figure it out. I think the Chargers have a lot of problems, and I think they're going to be looking for a new head coach if they don't make the playoffs this next year. So that could be a dumpster fire waiting to happen. But I don't know. Herbert, is very good, so he could carry it on. Matt, what'd you have?
Yeah, he goes from one of the toughest divisions in football last year and now inserts himself into the AFC West with the teams that you just mentioned with 4 great quarterbacks. So difference being that he's got definitely a better defense in Denver for sure, even though they did trade away Shelby Harris, who was an anchor on that defensive line. But the one thing I'm concerned about, he didn't have an offensive line in Seattle. He doesn't really have much better of a one in Denver. They have a little bit better of a run game, but that's been his whole career, is not having an offensive line to protect him. So that'll be the one thing I'll look for this year. He's got a good core of young receivers to throw the ball to. So it'll be really interesting. That'll be a wild division to watch throughout the year, though, for sure.
Anybody else?
I've also been seeing stuff that this is how the Seahawks are trying to get Deshaun Watson. I don't know if it's true, but
that's an interesting theory.
Patrick, you're in the
Tell
Houston
us
Texans
more.
dark web, baby.
Yeah, tell us
that's-
more, Patrick.
That is an interesting. Yeah, I could
Mhm.
see it.
Yeah.
You're getting access. Well, no,
Oh my
they
God, I
still
said
don't have
something
enough.
good.
They still don't have enough because they traded 2 firsts for Jamal Adams, and they don't have any young talent unless you include Jamal Adams in the trade.
Yeah, I don't know. Ryan,
Oh no, I don't got anything. I mean, for the outline here, is the AFC West the best division? I still think it's either that or the NFC West. I still think the NFC West is great. You know, you got the Rams, you got the 49ers, you got the Cardinals, Seattle. Yeah, not so much, but those top 3 are really, really good.
yeah, it's going to be really tough to come out of that division on top. It's especially, you know, everybody's guaranteed a home and home. I feel like there's going to be a lot of split series in that, and the division winner may be 10-7 or 9-8. I think they're like the Chiefs run of, you know, 13 wins a year. I just don't think that's going to happen again. Not next year.
To see win-loss totals going into next year.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty interesting. Something that just happened today, Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders. That was a trade, right? Yeah. Two thirds and a second round swap. He's owed $78 million over the next 3 years. Has anyone in the NFL besides Deshaun Watson had a bigger fall from grace than Carson Wentz when he was having that MVP year for the Eagles, got hurt, they won a Super Bowl without him, and now he's just a guy who people can't get rid of fast enough?
No.
Right? It's been
Maybe
crazy.
Michael Vick.
Yeah, that could be.
But
yeah.
that's different, right?
Yeah.
That's
Calvin Ridley.
That's not the same.
Calvin
Calvin Ridley. He never
but
had
like-
the highs that
Yeah, but like
those guys
the,
had.
the Carson Wentz highs, he was the lone, like,
He was the
people
guy.
were like, he's going to win the MVP and the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. They did win the Super Bowl, but he got hurt, all that stuff. Nick Folk, we know the rest.
Like
but-
Foles.
Folk, good God. Guys, I'm
Nick
running on
Folk led him
fumes.
all the way.
I'm running
kicking
on
field
fumes.
goals.
Run on fumes here. But dude, I've seen Washington Commander fans just distraught over this. Distraught.
They
No
should
one's
be.
happy.
Every
No
time
one-
you say Commanders, I laugh.
Dude, it's a joke.
It's so
It's
funny.
It's so
I don't want to
bad.
derail the conversation.
No,
but
it's so bad. It's so bad. They should have just stayed with the Washington football team. Matt,
Yeah.
did
I
you want to say
like
something?
Washington football team. I thought it was cool. It's
Yeah.
different.
I thought it was cool too.
Everyone got used to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all used to it. We're all good with it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
everybody
type
was cool with it.
WFT and it's kind of funny because
Yeah.
you know.
Matt.
I mean, I kind of like the Heineke guy. Taylor Heineke for Washington? I think he's proven himself to be a starter in the league, at least for the Washington Commanders. So I'm actually really surprised that they're taking on not only giving the picks away, but they're taking on dead money from Carson Wentz's contract. It's like 80+ million. It's crazy amount of money that they're leaving on the table. I like Taylor Heineke. I'm a little bit confused about the trade a little bit. I don't even know who the Colts backup quarterback is, but the
Dan
Colts
Mellinger.
team,
Yeah.
baby,
We're
back.
So the Colts
Good job, Mark.
Colts got a top 5 defense. They're pretty much a QB away from making being a contention team. Not that Carson Wentz was going to be that guy anyways, but I mean, Sam Ellinger, I don't know what they're going to do. It'll be interesting. Yeah, it's a horrible trade, I think, in my opinion, for both teams. I mean, yeah,
It's
just a terrible trade.
It's wild seeing those quarterback moves and this save this clip because it could be bad down the road. But this quarterback draft class just doesn't do it for me. Like to be in a position to not have a quarterback and need to draft one, why would you want to do it this year? Like, why? Who piques your interest enough to be like, you know what, we'll take a first round shot on him. Like maybe some guys fall to the 3rd round or whatever, and you can get away with it. But like, you know, Malik, the guys coming to my head right now, Malik Willis, Who I saw an article
Kenny
about
Pickett, Matt Corral,
Yeah. See, like that just
Sam
even
Howell.
Matt Corral I could have given you, but coming off an injury like that, like now, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a weird
None of those
time.
guys. It's just
No.
positional scarcity that pushes these guys up. I promise you, at least 2 of them is going to get drafted in the first round.
Oh, for
Probably
sure.
the first half of the first round, because it's just the way these things work. People talk themselves into them.
Yeah.
I will say though, look at all the quarterback movement. These are teams that could have taken quarterbacks. Denver at 9 could have just taken a quarterback. They've been mocked Malik Willis. They've been mocked Kenny Pickett, and instead chose to go all in on a proven guy. The freaking Commanders. They're picking 11th. They could have gotten whatever quarterback is still there, right? Maybe they're getting the first quarterback off the board at that point, and they chose, possibly they still will, I guess, because they still have their first round pick, but they went with the proven commodity instead. I think that's the interesting part of this, is these teams that think they're ready to contend, looking at these quarterbacks and saying, nah, we're good. We're going to pass. I hope against hope that the Falcons don't take a quarterback at 8. It's got me so worried. It's got me so worried
man.
now.
They can't. There's just no way.
But yeah, Matt Ryan's the most eligible quarterback on the market. So hit me up with trades, guys.
Yeah. You could be. You could be getting a lot of phone calls, fielding a lot of phone calls. Anybody else? Okay, cool. Speaking of drafts, speaking of draft prospects, the OU guys just got done with their NFL combine. And today, we're recording this on Wednesday night, they got done with their pro day in Norman. Really cool to see a lot of the alums show up. I saw Ronnie Perkins, Creed Humphrey there. It was cool to see. It was real. And the guys who did pro day yesterday were at the workout with Schmitty, like Perrion and Isaiah and all that stuff. That was cool to see as well. We don't have to get into that. Brian Asamoah, I had a little, I wrote down what they ran in the 40 at their pro day. We already had what they ran at the combine. So Brian Asamoah, 4.61 at the combine, 4.56 at the pro day. So that 5 is going to help him out a lot. Nick Benito, 4.62 at the combine, 4.54 at the pro day. That's great for him. That's huge for him.
These are hand times, right?
Yeah, they're hand times. I mean, what are you going to do?
All our guys did really, really well.
Give it up now for the sandwich kicker himself, Gabe Burkich, 57 of 69 field goals in his OU career. He also made 159 of 160 PATs. I just have a bad taste in my mouth from Gabe Burkich. I hope he does well, and I hope he has a great career. But dude, that guy pissed me off the last 2 months of his OU career.
He hasn't been the same since the burrito.
Since the burrito.
Yeah, I said sandwich again. Dude, what is wrong with me? I am like struggling.
Long day.
Dude, long week.
It has been a long week. And you just got back from work, trip.
Yeah,
You're killing the game, Mace.
What are you going to do? Kennedy Brooks, 4.59 both times at the pro day and at the combine.
That's impressive.
Kennedy, consistency, Brooks.
What a guy.
Baby. He is the same guy every time.
Every time. Jeremiah Hall, the Bullfrog, 4.79 at both the pro day and the combine. He did have a 4.98 at the combine, but he improved on that. So that was 4.98. You definitely don't. That was bad.
Marquise got him with the tight ends. Is he a tight end?
No, he's going to be a fullback.
Like a fullback.
And we were talking about, we can come back to Jeremiah Hall in a second. Marquise Hayes, 40s don't really matter in my opinion for the offensive lineman, but we can go ahead and look at it. Hayes, 4.31 at the combine, 4.30 at the pro day, 4.2.
5.
5.31.
Y'all, what is happening?
Tyrese Robinson on the offensive line. 5.25 at the combine.
If this offensive lineman is running a 4.3,
this is rough. Tyrese Robinson, 5.25 at the combine, 5.13 at the pro day. Isaiah Thomas back on the defensive line, 4.7 at both of those. Delarian Turner Yell, DTY, 4.47 both days. Not much change for him.
Another consistent guy.
Yeah. Perion, 4.86. I see this note in here. It was really cool to watch him run at the combine and see him break his chain. That was pretty dope. Makes him look faster.
Speed.
Just when he's breaking things.
Good number for him.
And then Mike Woods finally 4.55. Honorary mention to Grant Calcaterra. Who put that in there? Who wants to give Grant a shout out?
That was me. I just heard he killed it. Like, he did really well. So shout out to Grant.
All right, awesome. Shout out to Grant. I'm a big fan. Anything stand out to you guys? We were talking about Jeremiah Hall. I don't know where he fits. I don't think he gets drafted. I think he ends up on a roster. I don't know if he gets drafted because we were talking about it. Where does he fit? He's not a tight end. People don't use fullbacks anymore besides the 49ers. Unless the Miami Dolphins want to be a copycat and draft him and put him at fullback because they have Mike McDaniel as their head coach now, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's almost got to be kind of how you used him at OU, sort of, where he's an H-back for a team that passes the ball a lot. So he can capably lead block if he's like the wing on a play, or he can run a route and catch a ball for you. He's going to play every single special team. He has to. And I think that's the only lane that exists for him, is some team that wants to be versatile with that position, and he plays special teams. 4.98's not good.
No, it's not. That's not good. Does anybody see on this list a first rounder?
That's what I was going to say. I feel like Perion, through the Senior Bowl, through his numbers, he's got the most potential to sneak in to the first round. I mean, he's just an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah.
And I'm sure NFL teams will know actually how to use him, how to utilize his speed and strength versus what he did at OU. I mean, he's going to be a game wrecker on that defensive line for whatever team decides to draft him. They're going to get a good one. I think he's got the real potential to sneak in there, maybe late in the first round.
I just feel like there's not enough buzz around Perion where there should be. He had a fantastic Senior Bowl. He had a great combine. He had a great pro day. They're going to draft Jordan Davis, the first defensive lineman off the board, interior defensive lineman. That's fine. But after that, it's a crapshoot for who's the next best. And you're telling me you're a great team at the end of the first round and you have a chance to take Perion Winfrey? Sign me up. Like, sign me all the way up. But you're right. I think he's the lone guy who's a first round shot. I
wouldn't put it past, the end of the first round gets funky. I wouldn't put it past some team at the end of the first round who's like, we need a quick linebacker. Let's add Brian Asamoah. Or, hey, there's a couple edge guys around, but I don't think Benito's ever possible. But Asamoah is possible. It's weird that that's where we're at this point in the process, because it didn't feel like that'd be the case.
Yeah. It's a weird feeling to look at those offensive linemen and know that they have no shot getting drafted like the first day or maybe even the second, compared to what we've seen in the past with the Orlando Browns and the Creed Humphreys and the Cody Fords and the like. It's just super weird to know that's where we're at. And I hate to go back to it, but I feel like that's part of the previous regime and the kind of guys they recruited and the kind of guys that they built. And I think it's not really an indication or anything bad against Robinson or Hayes. I just think it was the system that they were in, and they didn't do their best to build those guys into NFL draft picks. Anything else? Go ahead, Mark.
Well, it's a previous regime thing, so we don't have to get too far into it.
I mean, yeah. Every time we say we're not going to talk about it, something comes up and we mention, and we folks, we are honestly trying very hard because we're over it. We don't want to talk about it anymore, but sometimes things come up and I
think the thing that's telling is that Orlando Brown bombed the combine. He bombed every part of it. And that's what led to him sliding in the draft. Creed Humphrey is super athletic, but it's not like super strength. He's a very agile guy. we have a coach now who is going to make sure our linemen get built and are developed. And that's the change that I would like to point out that I think will be different. That's all.
I think you're right. Anybody else before we move on? Nothing. Patrick, who's your favorite guy in the draft class for the Sooners?
Bonito.
Who you want to see get drafted?
Bonito for sure.
Dude, me too.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Bonito get taken.
Put on 10 pounds since the season ended too.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's dope, man.
Mhm.
That was really cool. Okay. It's time to circle the WaGanns, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Gann, they won't pitch to freaking Alo, man. They won't do it.
Pissing me
afraid.
off.
The
Yeah.
Golden Gophers are cowards. I'll let you take it away now.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually who I start with anyway, so I appreciate the segue there. Also, if you need a break from hosting the pod, just let me know. More than happy to take over.
Thanks.
I got the outline right here, so just let me know. I'm more than happy just to hop right in. So, but yeah, you're right. It's a really big disappointment that Alo keeps getting intentionally walked. Right? She's the greatest player currently in softball, one of the greatest hitters of all time, and she's still tied for the all-time home run record. She's been like that for the past 2 weeks. Now, OU had a bye last week as well before this game against Minnesota, but teams are just refusing to pitch to her. Now, the good thing about it is that people are stepping up behind her. The two batters behind her, Jana Johns and Kinsey Hansen, the catcher, are absolutely been crushing it, even when they intentionally walk Alo. So it's good to see that other people are stepping up in her stead, but still, it's almost a disgrace to college football or to college softball to not pitch to one of the best players. And I get it, but teams are still getting run ruled, just like Minnesota did on Monday and lost 9-1. Now, still unanimous number one. And the great thing is Alo gets to go back home, play 4 games in Hawaii, her home state, and hopefully out of those games against Baylor, California, and they play Hawaii twice, she will break the record. It couldn't be more of a better story, even though how we've got here is not so great. But for her to break the record in her home state would be a fantastic thing to do.
One addition that I would like to make is I just think those clips that they have of her being intentionally walked, where she just like takes off her glove and like throws the bat before the pitch is even thrown, is just so badass. And I think she's awesome. And obviously it's not her fault that she's getting intentionally walked, but still love that she's on our team.
Yeah, I know, Pat, you're passionate about it, and you've been on the ground for one of those games. I'm sad to see that you're not going to Hawaii this week, especially with you having so much free time as of late. But tell me a little bit about how you're feeling, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're cowards for not pitching to her. It's also sad because I don't know if she's a senior or if this is like her last season, but this is the last time she'll play softball because there's no higher league after college. I mean, sure, she'll play softball again, but like they're ruining her last season by not letting her play, or not allowing her to play. And I hate that.
Patrick, there is a higher league.
There is a
But it's okay.
You just don't know about
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see her in it. And I hope teams pitch to her.
She did do a interview on the Oklahoma Breakdown last week, and she talked about how other opposing teams really started intentionally walking her senior year of high school. So it's funny to see it kind of come full circle to be a senior in college now and on the precipice of making history, and people just keep walking her. It's
also
funny.
like no one's really going to know in 10 years what team was the one who pitched to her.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They're just going to know that she broke the record.
And if you're getting
you're on the
ruled,
highlight.
do what?
I'm sure
You're on the highlight. It's like getting
Over and
poster,
over.
right?
Yeah, but, like,
it's
if you're
it
already
being
just
the pitcher.
sucks. It just sucks.
If you're already getting run ruled, what's it matter? You know what I mean? Like if you're Minnesota, if you're already going to get run ruled, you're in the middle of it. What's the point?
But we've run ruled like 12 teams. Like you're
Right.
just a tiny little statistic there, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, me and the 11 other teams. It's like if you're that pitcher, you're going to be on television multiple times, just rerun after rerun
You're right.
of it getting the record being broken.
Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say I'm putting money that she breaks the record this weekend. I would be completely shocked if at least one team doesn't pitch to her. It'd be crazy. It'd be unfathomable to think.
Dude, they
about,
might start
we'll
a GoFundMe in Hawaii to make an NIL deal for the opposing pitcher to pitch to her.
It'll be
they
they play Hawaii twice. It'll be Hawaii. It's gonna be the fans of Hawaii who are gonna be like, pitch to her. We want her to break it here because she is Hawaiian.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in next week's pod, I will finally come on and say that she's broken a record. So that is the hope we have. Clip it, save it.
That's right.
We got it saved, but do have some other OU programs that keep circling the wagons. And as you know, it is March. It's almost that time for March Madness. We got all the conference tournaments coming up this week. So I wanted to hit on OU women's basketball, who ended the regular season 23-7, 12-6 in the conference. They are the number 4 seed, playing against number 5 Kansas. They play on Friday. They split the regular season 1-1. So this will be their 3rd time at the bat. Hopefully they can pull it out. Still projected to be a number 4 or 5 seed in the March Madness Big Dance Tournament. So hell of a season for them. I know Mark's mom is a huge fan, an huge fan. So I had to give a shout out.
Love some
Women's basketball who's having a great year so far, and hopefully they can continue for the Big 12. Now, the OU's men's basketball team, the other way. They are the number 7 seed. And unfortunately, they got to play the co-share owner of the Big 12 regular season, Baylor. They play tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at T-Mobile Arena.
So I need to touch on this real quick because
go ahead, my man.
My girlfriend is a Baylor alumni and her mom is a Baylor alumni, and I have to watch this game with them tomorrow.
That's tough.
And
that's
let me tell you, I'm really tired of losing to Baylor, guys. I'm really tired of it.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Ryan for having a girlfriend. Like, that's pretty sick, man. I like that.
Dude, that was a hard flex. I loved it.
It was. Man. It was pretty sick.
Got a girlfriend and she's got a mom.
I'm talking about my pain here, guys. I'm talking about my pain.
She's got a mom.
And you're just
like a couple of wins.
Just no support for my guys. It's
no,
fine.
I support.
Brian's like,
you,
I want cake and eating it too.
That's right, exactly. And also, I support you. I said you have a girlfriend that's sick. That's a big support.
Pro Ryan here.
Yeah, we're a pro Ryan having a girlfriend podcast. I want that on the record.
The future Mr. and Mrs. McDonald is all we care about.
Oh, shut up. You're so lame.
Not Ryan's last name, by the way, for all the listeners out there. Not
yeah, but Ryan's progressive. All right. It's time for a change. It's time for a change. Go ahead, Gan.
Yep. So they play against Baylor. That'll be a tough scene for you. Unfortunately, probably gonna get smoked. So I'm really sorry about that. Now OU is kind of on the cusp. They would have to make a pretty big show in the Big 12 to even be in consideration. So most likely going to be out of the Big Dance this year. It's the first year. I'll give Porter Moore some slack here, but
he's got guys returning next year, so that's good.
He also just got an extension, 2028, baby.
Yeah.
We love to see it. We love Porter. He just needs to get the right team around him, and I'm sure we'll see success. Other news, do want to hit on some other programs as well. OU men's baseball, not good as well. Just not playing well. They've lost.
They're a dumpster fire.
They are just not playing well. Had 3 straight losses to LSU, UCLA, and Tennessee. Gave up an inside the park home run to Tennessee.
Disgusting.
It is really bad. The pitching for OU not looking good to start. They did beat Dallas Baptist University 8-7 last night. They almost blew another lead or almost lost that game. And they have a 3-game series against the Roadrunners in UTSA coming up. Hopefully they can bounce back, but definitely not a great start. And they're all going to get better competition. I mean, I just mentioned LSU and Tennessee. I mean, they're going to the SEC, and they are a very, very good baseball conference. So might be the future of what OU men's baseball is looking like. Do want to mention OU men's golf. We have 2 golfers in the top 15 in the PGA University standings. That's Logan McAllister coming in at number 4 and Chris Gotterup at number 14th. OU is still ranked number 1 team, but do have 2 of the best top 15 golfers on the team who are playing extremely well and will continue to do so. Men's and women's gym still at number 1 and 2. Women's just got to number 1. OU still at number 2. They both had meets last week, beat the 3 teams that were there. And last but not least, OU women's tennis still number 2 after sweeping Illinois 4-0 and their last match with them. And they got some Big 12 play coming up against Kansas, Texas, and Baylor. Texas and Baylor both ranked within the top 15 as well. So a lot of good things going on with a lot of different programs. Sadly, men's basketball, baseball, not what we expected, but some other great programs to keep an eye on.
It's sweeping the nation, folks. Circle the WaGanns. Be sure to hashtag it. Hashtag Circle the WaGanns. Tag Brent Venables. Tell him to come on the pod and help Circle the WaGanns. We need all the help we can get to get Brent on. March Madness Selection Sunday coming up on, you guessed it, Sunday. And we're going to have some picks for you next week. We'll do some brackets for you. We won't go through our entire bracket. We'll do some version of it. We'll decide. But guys, it was fun to do the punishment for the NFL playoff pick'em. I think that it's time to bring back the punishment. It's only been a couple weeks, but I think we need to bring it back. Anybody have any punishment ideas for this go around?
In my opinion is, I think if you guys lose, then it should be a spray tan. I want you guys to endure that. I have a membership too. I don't know if it's transferable, but I haven't canceled it yet.
It won't be.
So.
It won't be.
It won't be.
And then if I lose,
can you tan my boy?
Yeah.
But he's my
In
boy.
a completely different state.
Slides on a punch card. All right, go ahead.
If I lose, I'll do the Blazing Challenge, 6 wings. But if you guys lose, spray tan. That's my idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, so like if you win, then
It's
we
an
all have to do it?
if-then punishment.
No, the loser.
Okay,
does
I
the
got
spray
you.
tan.
All right.
And then
All
if
right.
I lose, I do the Blazing.
I got you. Anybody else?
I feel like we've already done the spray tan. I think we should cut that one out.
That should be out no matter what.
Okay.
I don't know. I love it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, mine didn't make the cut last time, so I think it should make the cut this time. And spending a 1 paid complete weekend on me.
Paid.
Paid vacation with Matthew Gann for an entire week. I couldn't think of a better punishment, especially if I win. So that means I can hang out with myself. So definitely think that should make the cut 100%.
You're the worst. Mark, anything?
So I was thinking it's sort of similar to the spray tattoo or spray tan, but maybe like a hentai tattoo.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
somewhere you can
Hentai is
hide.
Hentai is like,
I've got a lot of those places around me. I'd be down.
you got a lot of
Hentai or hentai? Yeah. Or
No, what's the word?
hentai is a category.
What's the word?
Never
What's
mind.
the word? I'm just wrong.
It's henna.
It's
henna.
Oh god. I was a little late there.
Oh my god. Don't worry, we'll cut
We
that.
know.
Leave
Mark's
it in.
into-
We're not gonna
Mark's
cut
Leave
into-
it in.
We don't endorse that kind of stuff.
Me,
on this
I
podcast.
love
Leave
that
it
me
in.
and Matt, the delinquents we are, knew exactly what the
Yeah, well,
hell we
no,
talked
I just
about.
heard it. I just heard it from a friend.
Yeah,
or two.
yeah, you heard it from a friend. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
friend.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay, Mark, was
Friend
that
called
it?
Google.
The henna?
Yeah, I think like a henna tattoo of something would be cool. Something impermanent, but like you still got to go do it and you still got to have it on you.
I like the idea. Ryan?
Guys, I failed here. I can't really think of one, you know. I'll come back and, you know, I'll be better. I think eventually one of the ones that I want to do, like when we're very serious, is my brother one time for his fantasy football league. The person who lost had to go take the ACT. And I
Oof.
think
That
that's
was
so
terrible.
fun. And I think
That's
that's
so
such a
miserable.
good I think that's
I
such
think
a good
that's a great punishment.
Basic.
But
Pat says basic.
Just kidding.
you have to sit
basic.
4 hours through a
Pat's
test.
like, you guys go get a spray tan. The ACT is basic.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
mine, Ryan has been pushing hella hard for his foreign films to be introduced.
Yes.
So what I
You better not.
propose is
This is the
that
winner.
we have to, one of us, whoever loses, has to watch Ryan's film and write a 1,000 word paper
Holy
Oh, that's good.
about the movie.
This is incredible. I'm voting for this.
And
This
we're going to
has
read
win.
it. We won't read the entirety of it, but we're going to read it as a group. And
Can I
if
pick
it's
the
not
movie?
up to par, like if it's just yes, Ryan, you can pick it. If it's not, like, it can't be just a total BS, like blah, blah, blah for 1,000 words. Like I need you paid attention, and it's going to
I have
be
to
foreign,
approve
and it's
it.
going to be in another language,
I have to
and it's going to be
approve it.
amazing. Yeah.
No
you will.
subtitles.
No subtitles.
Guys,
You're
there's-
watching with subtitles. If you have to write 1,000 pages,
1,000 words, no subtitles. You
1,000
just
words.
come up with your own story, and then Ryan
Look at
tells you
Gan.
how
Gan
you
is
were wrong.
terrified.
Guys, I couldn't have think of a worse punishment for myself. I used to get people to write my papers for me in college. I
Exactly.
used to hand them money.
I know.
I can't write papers over a foreign film.
I know. I'm pretty sure you paid me in college to
Matt, I
write
don't-
one
or
for you.
Matt, I don't know if you want that out there, bro.
Matt is kidding.
Dude, it doesn't matter. It's statute of limitations, right? Like you can't get in trouble
yeah.
now. I don't know.
They
Can
can't
you?
take that
They
paper
can't
away.
rescind your diploma.
There was a viral like TikTok. Patrick's always on TikTok, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
Patrick.
there was a viral TikTok of a girl who graduated from OU and she got a email like 2 years later that she didn't actually graduate. She walked and everything, and OU like emailed her like you still
If you're
have like
missing
one credit.
hours.
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
That's awful.
Insanity, craziness. Okay, so we'll put that poll up on our Twitter. That'll be our Twitter poll of the week, and also feel free to comment under that with your own sort of idea.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we need a poll now? Because I love the foreign movie idea.
No, we need a
I like
poll.
the henna too.
We'll put a
The
poll
people
up.
might want to see a
Thanks,
nice henna,
Pat.
like
We'll
a
put a-
back, a
we'll
whole
put a-
back of henna.
Like
Yeah.
Ben Affleck when he
We're
got his
gonna
back
put-
tattoo.
We'll put a poll up. I'm pretty sure the foreign film one will win.
Let's just
I
do
think
two
I
though.
think so too. Well, but we should definitely take feedback.
Yes,
If people have better
absolutely.
ideas, send us better ideas.
I have
no doubt.
I have a feeling that one of our listeners, Ryan Heil, will probably have a
He'll
good
have
idea to
something
add.
good.
He'll have
He'll
a
have
good
something
idea to add. By the way, miss you, Heil. Love you, buddy. All right, we're moving on to Ryan's must watch of the week. Ryan, I like the sound of this one. I like it. You went a little
Yeah.
mainstream.
Have you? I mean, you might have never heard of it. Honestly, it's not a very popular character or popular movie series or anything like that. I decided to go really like non-mainstream actually this time. Wanted to give Gan really what he needed. And I am going to be talking about the Batman this week. So and I'm talking about the 2022 version of the Batman that just came out last Friday. It is starring Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne / the Batman, Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, or otherwise known as Catwoman. You have Paul Dano as the Riddler. You have oh man, you got a lot of people in here. Just a stacked cast, right? And so Matt Reeves directed this movie, and what you might know that Matt Reeves has directed in the past is the last two Planet of the Apes films that just came out, probably like 10 years ago or so. There was a trilogy. He did not direct the first one, but he directed the last two. So very promising filmmaker, very good at action sequences, and a big comics fan, which this movie relies heavily on a lot of the Batman comics. There's some really great podcasts out there that you can listen to if you want to dive deeper into how this kind of movie goes off the comics so much. And it's a really interesting take. Okay, let's start with barrier to entry, right? This movie is 3 hours long.
Oh my
which
god!
is-
I didn't know it was 3.
It's-
Oh my gosh.
Do not
is-
eat or drink. Yeah, do not eat or drink.
Dude,
It is,
good call.
It is 3 hours long. It is very dark. And I don't mean dark. It's dark story-wise, but it's visually very dark.
Like
like-
noir kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So 95% of this movie takes place at night, and 95% of this movie takes place in the rain. So it's raining and dark pretty much the entire movie. Those are my two main barrier entries. I do think it's too long. I think it's too long by about 30 minutes. I think if they cut 30 minutes out of this movie, it would be incredible. It would just be, I still think it's a great movie, and I'm going to get to that a little later. I still think it's a really, really great movie, and that's why I'm recommending it. But I do think they can cut 30 minutes, especially out of the third act of this movie, that I think has the most opportunity for improvement. You could cut it. You could cut it half of it and be okay. Some of the high points here. I love the direction. I love the way it looks. It feels, like I said, it's very dark, but it's still beautiful, and it's filmed extremely well. They film this digital processed. Sorry, I can't talk today, guys. Processed it through actual film and then translated it back to digital. And what that does is it creates that, you'll see that when you see the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about, but it seems like a 70s vintage kind of grimy type, cinematography that
kind of like Django Unchained. Sorry if I'm interrupting. Is it kind of like that?
Sort of, yeah,
Okay.
but it's not. It's obviously a lot darker. I don't know if anybody saw Dune this past year. I really love Dune. It was done by the same cinematographer who did Dune, same cinematographer who did Rogue One, Star Wars story. Really, really talented cinematographer. And just the vibes of this movie are really great, because when I think of Batman, I think detective, grimy, Gotham's basically kind of a shithole, and he's trying to pull it out of that, right? And it felt like Gotham was a character in this film. And I love when movies are able to do that and able to make you feel so immersed that you're actually there. And I think this movie does a great job of doing that, even with the very long runtime. Some of the visual shots in this movie are incredible. It has a very similar, speaking of Rogue One, same cinematographer, has a very similar scene to the Darth Vader scene in Rogue One at the end. If you guys know what I'm talking about with the hallway, very similar scene to that with some gunfire in the dark, and it's very, very cool. So visuals, I think, are great. I love the performances. I know, again, I talk about this every time, but in order to have a really good movie, you need to have a good cast, and they knocked it out of the park with this one. I think especially Robert Pattinson. I'm going to be talking about him a little later in the pod. And then Zoe Kravitz, I think, is probably the MVP of this movie. The chemistry between them is lights out, really, really incredible. And you need to have good chemistry between Catwoman and Batman. Like, you just have to. So I thought they did a really good job with that.
Those two need to want to get it on.
And they absolutely do.
They need to have competing allegiances and obligations, but magnetic loins.
Yeah, I was listening to the Ringiverse pod today about the Batman with Mallory Rubin and Joanna Robinson, and they were talking about how horny this movie is. And I completely agree with it. It's got like a sexual energy between, Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz's character that you need to have. I mean, you need to have that if you're going to play with those two characters. They didn't really do it super well in the Dark Knight Rises with Anne Hathaway and Christian Bale. And this kind of brings it back to that same energy that Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer had.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
It's, but it's very noir based. This is year 2 Batman. So it's not year 1. This is not really a spoiler alert, but they are not as focused on the incident that created Batman with, Bruce Wayne's parents dying.
Yeah.
I've seen that so many times. They've taken kind of the same approach that the new Spider-Man films have taken, where they don't really show the death of Uncle Ben. It's discussed and it's part of the character, but that's not the intention of the story. But it is still year 2 Batman. So he's new. His gadgets aren't as fancy as maybe Christian Bale's were. He's still trying to learn kind of his way around, and he makes mistakes. He does stupid things sometimes. And I think it's a very interesting way to show a different side of a character that we know very, very well. And it's also very heavy based in that kind of Gotham detective. So it feels like a detective story more than maybe like an action movie, even though there's some incredible set pieces in this, especially one about halfway through the movie with the Batmobile when that shows up. Incredible scene. But really, this is more about the vibes of Gotham and how he is solving the main bad guy. Again, not a spoiler alert, the main bad guy in this movie is the Riddler. So he's solving riddles as we go. And he's solving these things. So you really get that feeling of, oh, this actually is the world's greatest detective, right? And we've always been told that about Batman. But, you know, especially in the Christian Bale movies, that wasn't really the case. You know, it never really focused on that element of Batman. So I really love what Matt Reeves has done with that. Gan, do you have something to say?
Whenever you can fit me in, I just had 2 questions for you. So just keep going. Just
go ahead. Go ahead.
Listen, just 2 things that come to mind. One, where do you rank Robert Pattinson on your Batman scale? Because again, me and my roommate Ryan did go see the movie last Friday. I agree with you. Super incredible. Also, maybe don't go see it late at night. You might fall asleep, just how long it is and how dark it is. But besides the point, fantastic movie. Rank your Batmans. And also a second follow-up question for you. Let me know if I need to repeat it as well if you forget. What's a movie, and I think I talked to you this offline, what's a movie that didn't have great performances by the actors, but was still a good movie?
Those are my 2 questions. You did ask me this offline.
Remind me when we have our second interview ever to not let Matt be on the call to ask questions. Rank your Batmans, but rank them quickly. Rank them quickly.
Okay. Do you want me to rank the Batmans or the movies?
The Batman character.
The Batman. Yeah. We're not going through every Batman property.
Yeah, I just feel like the main guys like Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, Robert Pattinson.
Sure. Well, I would still probably say Bale, just because I've seen 3 of his movies, is number 1 for me. That's the guy I signify with Batman. I think Pattinson could take that over. Maybe if they make a sequel. Pattinson 2, Keaton 3, Clooney like in the garbage down, like very, very low. Those are, and there's others, you know, back in like the 50s, Batman in the series, Adams West and stuff. I'm not super familiar with those, so I feel like I can't rank them accordingly. So that would be it. For your second question, The Social Network is the one that I told you. I think that's my favorite movie of all time, and I still don't think the performances are just outstanding. I think they're very good, but I don't think they're outstanding.
How dare you? Justin Timberlake is a national treasure.
That's a hot take.
Anyway, okay, moving on. That's the Batman. That's what I want to say about it. It's 3 hours long, but guys, go see it. It's my second favorite Batman movie. Had to throw that in there a little bit. Okay. Right below The Dark Knight. I think it's great. I think it's a different take on it. It made a lot of money this weekend, and I'm excited to see where they go with the series.
People call, they call Batman the Dark Knight. Our Dark Knight is Patrick Hirschberger.
This is the segue.
He is justice. He is vengeance. And his hat is his cape. Put it on. Look at him. It's on. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Program Guys Podcast. Like and subscribe. I don't think you have an ad on YouTube. I'm getting better at that. All right, Patrick, hit me with it.
All right. Second hot take after saying that Aaron Rodgers is a dud of the podcast comes now. Look, I still think moving to the SEC is a bad move. I like that we have essentially a 50-50 shot of going to the playoffs every year. And I like that we lose either 1 or 2 games every year. And moving to the SEC, I think we go to the playoffs less, and I think we lose more. And I like going to the playoffs more and winning more. So I'm actually personally against moving to the SEC. I think what we could have done is maybe try to strengthen the Big 12 and still had been superior in our own conference. But that's my hot take.
We've been trying to do that for 15 years and then getting 11 a.m. kickoffs against Kansas State, or even worse, 11 a.m. kickoffs against Texas or other ranked teams, Nebraska. Baylor, TCU, Nebraska last year.
But we're winning those games.
If you want to know how much of a joke the Big 12 is, Texas and Alabama are going to play, and Fox is going to slate it at the noon time slot. That is insane. That is a marquee game, and you're going to slate it for noon. That's so dumb. Compete with ESPN, compete with all of them for a Big 12 team, and play it at night. Go up against ESPN. People will watch Bama in Texas. I'm done.
Pat, my only comment on this, which I think is a bad take. Again, you are on 3 bad takes in a row in my book, so you need to step up your game. You know who has the same, you know what energy you are like putting out into the world right now? You're putting big like Tebow energy out into the world.
Okay.
And you know, I don't really love it. I don't
disagree with going to the SEC without it being a Lincoln Riley thing.
That's why, hey, if that's why he left OU, because he felt the same way.
It's soft. Look, both people are soft, but it's different. Like Pat's still an OU guy.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll direct this comment at Ryan then specifically, and not the rest of you. Ryan, by not agreeing with me and talking about the game times on television, you're giving me Aggie vibes because they all think that they have it great, and they have had no success with the move.
Go off, King.
Go off, King.
Are you
like
done?
the benefits?
That's
true,
but A&M wasn't.
A&M
wasn't the program Oklahoma is when they left
maybe
the
not.
Big 12.
Maybe not. I hope I'm
No,
wrong.
not maybe not. They weren't.
Yeah,
Okay.
not
Like
maybe
that's not
not.
They weren't. We're superior.
Are we going to go ahead, Matt? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I agree. If Tebow is still the head coach, I would be worried going to the SEC. I feel a lot better now with the coaching changes and the culture going into it. And again, we don't even have a time frame. I assume it'll be the next 2 to 3 years, which only helps BV and the coaching staff. I do agree. If Tebow is still head coach, I'd be massively worried because we would just get absolutely smashed by the SEC competition on a week-to-week basis. I think BV definitely gives us a way better chance. But like you said, we're going to lose more games. We're playing greater competition every single week. We don't have a break where we play Kansas. You know, we just don't have that anymore. We're playing Alabama. We're playing LSU, teams who compete nationally every single week. That's why it's the best conference in college football. I'm happy to be a part of it, especially with the coaches now we have.
Also more money.
Yeah.
You know, which is good for the university in the long run.
That's why they're making the move.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I thought it was a good hot take, Pat. You know, stand your ground. You know, stand your ground. Believe
hot. You're wrong, but it's hot.
Yeah.
You know, Pat, I've been coming at you kind of hard. I apologize.
That's okay.
But
I've been holding it back with your movie takes.
Please bring them. Oh my God. I
Go
hope you lose and I can give you a foreign film to watch with me.
Oh my
we got to watch it
God.
together.
Oh God, that's bad.
I'll pick something from Germany.
There you go. Then Pat would. That's not fair. He has to not know the language. Okay,
Then we'll turn off the subtitles.
Okay. Last segment. It's a kind of a fun segment. New segment alert. Matt, new segment alert. Give me the sound.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay, that's our new segment alert sound.
Is that not it?
No,
I've been practicing all week.
That's it. That's it. One more time.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay, nice. He added hand motions. Okay, this is our PGP MVP. We're gonna pick an MVP from the past week. We'll do this somewhat quickly. Mark, did you have something?
PGP is Program Guyz Productions.
Yes, that's right. Program Guyz Productions. All right,
PGP
go ahead.
MVP.
That's right. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, I'm starting.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
starting.
First.
All right,
on
my
that one, bro.
MVP for this week is, drum roll, please. Green Bay Packers quarterback.
Is it Aaron Rodgers?
Jordan Love.
Oh.
Ooh. First round pick in 2019. Jordan Love is on a 4-year, $12 million salary. And in the 2021 season, the only year he's hit the field, he played in 6 games, 1 start. He threw 2 touchdowns to 3 interceptions and 58% passing.
Yikes.
Doesn't sound good, right?
No.
Well, this is directly what happened after the Packers drafted Jordan Love.
Tell me.
They had 2 MVPs at the quarterback position and 2 straight NFC championship visits, all while getting that $12 million. And the Packers locked up the best quarterback in football for the next 4 years because they drafted Jordan Love. Now, 1 in 4 men suffer from performance anxiety. And the real reason Jordan Love is the MVP is he'll never have to know if he does. Because that dude is never hitting the field. And he's still making that bank. Give me Jordan Love.
Love it. That was great. That was a great first MVP. I'll start next. Keep in mind, this segment is kind of open-ended, so it's not necessarily, it can always be a person, but we're also going to do like moments or teams or whatever. So for mine is Liverpool FC. Guys, I'm wearing my Liverpool shirt. I'm getting into football and soccer.
The Premier League.
Yeah, the Premier. Well, I'm getting to that.
The SEC of
yeah, exactly. So Liverpool, my MVPs, they're coming off a Carabao Cup victory, also known as the FA Cup. Pat, correct?
No, it's different.
What are you talking about?
It's silly. No, it's a different thing.
FA Cup.
The FA Cup.
No, the FA Cup and Carabao Cup are 2 separate tournaments.
Okay, whatever. I don't care. You ruined it.
Mason was so excited.
I was so excited.
So
I thought I finally had it right.
I know soccer.
All right, Liverpool is 13-1-2 in their last 16 matches. That is over all competitions. They have a Carabao Cup to their name. They just advanced to the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. Pat, correct?
Correct.
That's right. Okay, just making sure. Pat's our soccer guy. I'm trying to make sure that I'm right. And they are 6 points behind Manchester City in the Premier League with a game in hand.
That matters.
That matters. Exactly. See, I'm wearing the lingo, baby. So 6 points behind with time to go. They have a chance for the quad, which is Pat, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the Premier League, and what else? FA, because they're different. I knew that.
Right. Yeah.
I knew that. Exactly. So Liverpool, that's my MVP of the week. Go Reds, up the Reds. You'll never walk alone. Okay, Pat.
All right. Staying with the soccer theme, my MVP for the week is Robert Lewandowski, who scored a hat trick within 11 minutes, which was pretty crazy. But there are some people who are going to say it was fake. Not really, but he scored 2 of those 3 goals were penalties. But I do want to talk about how those penalties were also impressive. Both of the penalties he was fouled on, so he earned the penalties. Secondly, it's kind of like a hidden rule in soccer that guide, I guess, that if you were fouled, you do not take the penalty because the foul is still kind of in your head and you're still like, ooh, I don't know, like I'm still thinking about the foul. You're not thinking about the shot. So that's also a big deal. Like usually you give it to the second best penalty kick taker to take the shot if you get fouled. He took both of them. Also impressive because he shot it at the same corner both times and going up within like 11 minutes to the same goalie kicking another penalty kick is impressive.
Very.
So that's
Love
it. That's my MVP.
Perfect. Matt.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a perfect segue to my MVP of the week because speaking of hat tricks, not just 1, but 2 by my boy Jason Robertson out of the Dallas Stars. Had to rock it here today. Being a season ticket holder myself, I had to do it. He has to be my MVP. 2 back-to-back games. Has not been done since Alex Ovechkin back in 2020. It is a very, very hard thing to do to even get 1 hat trick, let alone 2 in a row in 2 games. He is playing unbelievable for the Stars. Stars are fighting for a wild card spot in the Central Division, which is a very, very tough division that they're in. But I had to one-up you, Pat. Robert won. Let's see if he can do it 2 in a row. And then maybe now I'll give him some credit.
Were the goals in the same half?
No, they're spread out, but it's periods, but it's a lot harder. And one of the hat tricks ended on a game-winning goal as well. So I'm sure what was the scores of the soccer games? Like 5-1, I'm sure. 5-0.
7-1.
Okay. Yeah. Case closed. Bing.
one more thing on the NHL while we're on that topic. The MLS is now more popular in the US than the NHL.
There's no way that's true.
It's true.
According to who? According to you?
Later.
I do want to see like some kind of sourcing because that's interesting. I could believe that soccer is on a faster trajectory than hockey for sure, right? But the idea that it's already there seems
Patrick
impressive.
4 hot takes.
Patrick, is that your source or is it?
I saw it on TikTok.
Come on, man.
Like listening to Matt, man.
Yeah.
What?
Good God.
I have credible information.
All right, go Ryan.
All right, we saved the best for last. I am going with my boy, Robert Pattinson. I've already talked about him in the Batman today, but I have to give him a huge shout out. Also, the third person on this list that has the name Robert in their name. Saw that on the outline. Thought it was interesting. All right. So Robert Pattinson started his career as a sparkly vampire in the movie Twilight, which we all know how that went. Didn't go well. Please go look up how Robert Pattinson did interviews and talking about his character Edward in Twilight. He like absolutely hated playing that guy. And it's so funny to hear him talk about it now. Really great.
I have no sympathy for him. He didn't hate that check. So
no, he didn't hate the check. And it started his career, he was seen but the ability for him to go from that kind of, known as this very prominent character into starting to create very interesting indie movies with very interesting indie directors. He played, he was in Good Time, which I know you guys have never heard of this, but it's a Safdie brothers movie. Same guys who did Uncut Gems. He was in The Lighthouse. Uncut Gems. He was in The Lighthouse by Robert Eggers. Really incredible performance there with Willem Dafoe. And he was in Tenet. That's not indie. And now he's playing Batman, which is one of the, the largest roles that you can get. The man can do both. The man is weird. The man's strange. The man is great at acting. And he's my MVP for the week. He's killing it right now.
Love it. That's a wrap up of our first segment, PGP MVP, our new segment. That'll be a weekly thing. Be sure to tweet at us, comment on our YouTube. Who's your MVP of the week? We may feature it next week in our show. So be sure to send those in. Final results on the poll of the week from last week. Who'd win in a boxing match, Pat or Matt? Pat, 78.9% of the vote. Congrats, Pat. You are the PGP World Champion.
Yeah.
Be sure to vote on our Twitter poll this week, what should be our punishment for the March Madness Bracket Challenge. We will keep you posted on that. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Program Guys with a Z, on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Program Guys Podcast. As always, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you stopping by. Be sure to leave us a like and a 5-star review on whatever you're listening at. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.